criticize Kim Jong-un, nothing's going to happen. There's no relevance to the outcome. But if I criticize Chuck Schumer,
you might die if you criticize Kim Jong-un.
Well, what about but I mean the outcome for him. I mean the outcome for him, not the outcome for me.
I think the outcome for him is more severe. I think Kim Jong-un cannot
stand. Sensitive. He's still going to be in power. No matter what I say.
If you take if you take power away from Kim Jong-un, some other group will have that power. Whereas if you take power away from the Democrats, the Republicans will have it. Okay, but they're the same. So that's why you get to criticize, because
you're still the bitch of the Bank of International Settlements.
All I'm trying to tell you is that choice is an illusion. In a democracy, right. An illusion. That's the only reason why we let you vote, is because it's an illusion. Like Iran. Okay, look at Iran.
That's right.
You have the supreme leader. The system isn't so far from the Iranian system. Iran is
the Grand Ayatollah.
Iran is a democracy. You have the supreme leader who chooses.
The Grand Ayatollah.
The supreme leader chooses some of the clerics, and those guys or not necessarily the clerics, because the supreme leader is a cleric, but he chooses a group of men. Those men, one of them can be the president. So you vote for the one you like among those he chose. That's an illusion of choice. Okay, like
in the U.S. as well.
Exactly like the U.S. in your situation. You have the Republican candidate and the Democrat candidate, and you can choose between them. But
in Britain, we have no situation.
But you're still on the inflation plantation.
Right, it's an illusion. It's not a choice. That's why
if you got Bitcoin now.
I'm just telling you, the dumbest thing in the world is to let people choose. No one will let you choose. The only reason we let you choose is because it's an illusion.
Heidi just don't want people to say that.
You're the word of the kicks again, Caleb.
Kicked.
That's right. But yeah, so Kim Jong-un is not the same. Xi Jinping is not the same. Russia is not the same. If you take power away from Putin, some other group will have it. That's why you cannot criticize. Right. Period. So, prove me wrong.
That's right. Everyone's very peaceful there.
Okay, look at Canada. We just had our election.
Look at Canada. You see, you managed to not kill Trudeau, which is something.
So it doesn't matter. You can vote. Because it doesn't matter who you choose. It's the same. It's the same policy.
See, I would say you actually have it backwards, Dr. Rabbi. When you say that North Korea isn't a uniparty and America is a uniparty, I don't think you understand the power of freedom of speech and how it applies in trying to obtain power in the government, meaning that they'll kill you in other countries. In America, we can say whatever we want about candidates.
That means you don't understand what I'm saying. I didn't say that. I said, obviously, they are a uniparty. There's only one party in control. You are an illusion of multiple parties and democracy.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
But it's the same thing at the end of the day, that you need a revolution to get yourself out of that shit show. They also need a revolution to get themselves out of the shit show. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you don't vote for Putin, you vote for the opposite guy, you will actually have a shift in power. Whereas, that's why we can't allow you to do that. Whereas in the US, it doesn't matter. Or in Canada, we just had our election. It doesn't matter if the Liberals won, but I couldn't care less. If the Conservative won, okay, it's the same. It's the same policy. They're all supporting the same things. So it doesn't matter who wins. Hence, we let you choose.
Who remembers the Obamacare battle in 2010, and then as soon as Republicans took power in 2016, they were fighting that like it was Normandy, and then they took power in 2016 and suddenly didn't give a shit about repealing it.
Yeah, but that's kind of the normal thing, though. Rico, when the president's in power, and then the opposition party, most of the time, it's in an off election, will win those seats. So.
If democracy is democracy, having representative democracy.
Well, why did you even ask that question, Rico? Then,
if you have direct democracy and if you vote for people rather than parties, then okay. But that will never happen. We will, because then that's actual democracy. We don't want that. You want an illusion.
Yeah. Also, like America isn't a democracy. We're a federal republic.
Yeah, but
We're
you're-
Same shit.
You're falling to the delusion of the words Democrat, Republican. I mean, those are just meaningless,
I said federal
adjectives.
republic, not democratic.
No, it's bigger than that.
They're
It's
just
bigger than that.
differentiation
Yes.
words.
So did you choose Trump for the nomination?
Yeah, we voted the man, not the party.
Okay, no, fuck Trump. Forget Trump. On the other side, I just like, for example, you chose, okay, but what about those who want Nikki Haley? What about those who want Marco Rubio? What about those who want it? So did you?
See, Trump achieved critical mass.
Okay,
Trump.
So, but what if I?
And what happened at Nikki Haley rally?
What if
There
I?
was a bunch of fucking faggots at the Nikki Haley rally.
There's a reason why you have two parties. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of obvious.
What?
There's a reason why you have a two-party system. You don't have a proportional representation system, for example. Anyways, representation is retarded. The fact that you cannot vote for a man, you have to vote for a party. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's what? Cat party. It doesn't.
Don't forget AOC.
Hey, fine, but that's AOC.
No, but that's not the case. More and more people are splitting tickets. More and more people are splitting tickets. They're voting one way, one party at the top, and they're voting other parties down ticket. Like, it's not. You do vote for individuals. You don't vote for parties here, as opposed to like in other parliamentary systems. You don't vote for individuals. You vote literally. You vote
for individuals that are backed by a party.
But that's just a technical way. Yeah, but that's not an essential feature. That's just a technical how it's organized.
It's exactly like how it's very technical in Iran. How the supreme leader, you can vote for a president that the supreme leader allows you to choose from.
I thought you only vote for the president.
You
vote for the president of Iran. You don't vote for the the Ayatollahs. They always have the power,
you don't vote for the relevance.
You can vote for a president, right?
Okay, but they vote for a president also. They vote from a pool of. They vote for one of a selection of potential candidates. All these candidates are selected by the supreme leader. Likewise, you vote for a candidate among those who are selected by.
Are you trying to explain English to us? What are you doing here, Dr. Rabbi?
I'm just telling you that it's an illusion, nigga. That's what you choose. It's an illusion if you vote. If you can vote.
I think it's more mixed. I think it's more mixed than that, actually. I think they're all primaries. There is such a thing as a political class who manipulates the system, and there is also a thing called actually free elections. I think they're in tension with each other, but I don't think it's an illusion that we have choice. We just have.
I think you have a choice when it comes to your mayor, for example.
Yeah.
Your mayor, wherever you live, I think you have a choice when. Oh, it depends which. I mean, if it's a big city, I'm not so sure, but like.
So what? You don't have a choice anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't even vote.
Well, that's not a rhetorical question.
You don't even get to vote. It doesn't.
You can elect judges, and judges can
What do you mean?
go to a pen and just do it.
Because
Wait, I asked a real question.
my friend, you're in Maine. Everyone in Maine, let's say 100% of the population, voted Democrats. Now, it doesn't matter. They can. The electoral college could still choose Republicans.
No, to split the vote.
Well, that's a special Maine situation, it seems.
Yeah, that's a very cool situation.
Fine.
So fuck you.
All
right.
Exactly.
Maine also has a rate choice.
100% of Texans voted Republican. Now, electoral college, their votes could all go to the Democrats.
No, I think they're more like half on Maine.
Theoretically, man, I'm not saying they do it. Theoretically,
It actually happened. Look at 2016. There's a bunch of retarded people that got electoral votes.
Anyways, the more illegal immigrants you have, the larger the population according to the census, which means more electoral college votes. Illegals literally vote without voting. The more illegals your state has, the more voting power you have as a state.
Well, I think.
But your vote as a citizen doesn't mean shit.
I'm going to get ranked choice vote in all 50 states, and then to make all 50 states can split up their votes, so we can use the democratic process to make all that happen.
What democratic process? How do you know that your vote counts? How do you even know that? Do you trust?
Well, hang on.
I trust that my vote counts. I think that they kind
I
of
know.
tried
I get that. You trust that your vote counts. I know.
If you halve the Kit Kat bar, I get to choose the first pick.
I don't trust that the vote counts. I want a system where I don't need to trust and I can verify.
That's right.
Counts for what? Counts for what?
Like I want a system where it's a self-auditing system. I would like blockchain voting. I don't want to it's a system that
Only if I get my name.
It's a system that audits itself, and you can see it in real time. The one who gets most coins wins. I would like a system where it's direct voting. I don't need a representative. I vote for a man, not a party. And the one with the most coins wins. Yes. That is a democracy. But no one wants that because, A, it's not an illusion. The moment it becomes a real choice, we will take your choice away from you. That's what I'm telling you. It's retarded. Democracy is for poor people, by the way.
No, but it's protection on the negative. It's protection on the downside. You can't choose who gets in, but you can certainly keep bad people out by being able to stop them being in power for long.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
They're accountable, so you don't have unfettered power. Everybody in power.
Hold on a second, motherfucker. You're coming all the way from England. Look at Keir Starmer. Are you really going to talk about nigga, how are you going to talk to me about accountability? He's going to do?
He can probably do that. That's the only thing he can do. It's like a middle manager. I mean, but he's not going to be in for very long, is he? People won't vote him again.
Come on, nigga.
You know that. He can't be. This is the whole good thing about happening.
Rico, you're the new lord of the kicks.
That's right.
I thought I had to appoint people.
Hey, Rico.
No, you have too much power.
Okay.
Oh, actually, man, you know what? That's actually true. I shouldn't be modding people.
So if you...
Yeah, you are right. You are right.
Only if you can vote them out.
Q is the one who gets to choose. Okay, after this.
Is that Q with the little Japanese things on?
That's right.
Good. I hear you saw someone the other day. I can't remember who it was.
Saw Lou. Clubhouse March.
Oh, cool. I bet he's so fun.
They don't see it. I mean, yeah, people trust that their vote counts. Okay, that's beautiful. But how do you know? Like, actually, how do you know that it counts?
Well, you do, because it does actually get counted.
Oh, it gets counted? Okay.
Yeah.
What about
the great addition? You like your numbers.
So let's say, okay, but there's infinite possibilities, you see. What about the ballots that should have been counted but weren't counted? Okay, so the ballots that weren't counted, let's assume that they are counted correctly.
How good is that?
But are those that should be counted?
Yeah, I mean, mine should count for two, but aside from being not quite right, it's more or less so, isn't it?
I mean, we literally had a video. We just had our election 2 days ago. We literally had a video of people with two big bags of fucking ballots, and they were taking them in a taxi. And like, they could have filled them with anything.
I know, but they're not likely to have actually moved the needle, are they? I mean,
which I'm not really willing to do it, but I'm going to assume that I'm willing to trust that the ballots are counted correctly. Now,
there's going to be some corrupt, isn't there?
These votes, should they have been made to begin with? What if they're counted correctly, but so there's 10 million, let's say, votes. But like 1 million of those shouldn't have even existed to begin with. 3 million should have existed, but they don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what I'm saying. It's about 4% or more than that.
No, I'm telling you, no, it's huge. It's fucking huge.
Yeah,
there's a million ways to cheat. There's a million ways.
You can have to tolerate a little bit of corruption because you're never going to get it perfect, are you? So how much is it? 10%?
No, I would rather have a cheaper system, faster system, self-auditing system where there's zero.
Yeah, it should be so easy. I
I mean, seriously, I mean, you can do like a kind of a phone into the television channel and get the votes a bit more accurate than they do on an election.
Yeah, but they could do it.
Love Island vote them off.
Should you agree that it is easy to do it?
It should be, shouldn't it? I mean, I know it's not that simple, but I would have thought that technology should be
Exactly.
too much of a challenge.
It is actually.
Hey, I
easy.
just want to read what Deborah Tucker in the other room. She wrote, do you hear these losers talking about mods? The green beam holy honor. I hope they all suffer and die. Pepe is funny, though. They're all Pepe puppets. He's the only one with any originality. But Rick is dating Jazzy anyway. The only one who's probably would make a worse boyfriend than Rick is Thomas Rico. So Rick is the biggest asshole. He's flirting with the woman like he's a cool, nice guy. When will these people get the mental health counseling and medications that they need? Tim Robinson was asking someone to show him his dick again today. Stupid loser. Rick kicked me. He's a stupid asshole. Thank you, Deborah.
Is that just one person, or?
Yeah, that's Deborah something Bancroft. Deborah Tucker Bancroft with 1.7 thousand friends. She's our analyst here on Clown House, giving us the play-by-play feedback.
And she's actually got a double round surname. That's really something. I want to be her friend too. Joking.
That's in the super stupid hypnosis brainwaves room in the Wizard Magic House.
I thought you were a hypnosis person.
Do you take PrEP, Dr. Horatio?
No. I don't think I get for free. I'd have to say I was a sex worker for the night. Oh no, that's probably not anymore. No, I don't have enough sex.
Well,
I don't even think you're not very likely to get it, are you? It's really unlikely.
What were you just mumbling?
You're not very likely. I don't think that the chances of catching it are very high. I could change that Horatio.
Oh, Dr. Julian is here. Julian, did you see that there's a new... Did you see the new Mangione musical being released in San Francisco this weekend?
Well, I'll be back. Give me 1 minute.
Oh, what's it called? That's right.
It's called Mangione, the Angel Killer.
The Angel Killer. Did you say Manju the Chinaman?
Let me Google this for you, but I actually did text Chris earlier. Let me pull the link. It is thehill.com. Luigi the Musical debuts in San Francisco, United Care CEO killing. It says San Francisco, from the killer barber of Sweeney Todd to Stephen Sondheim's Assassin, musicals have long dealt with morbid subject matter. Now a musical comedy based on Luigi Mangione, the 26-year-old man accused of gunning down the CEO of a healthcare company, is on its way to San Francisco. Luigi, the musical, is billed as a story of love, murder, and hash browns, is due to open in June at the Taylor Street Theater, formerly known as Exit Theater. Mangione was arrested as the prime suspect in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, who's pleaded not guilty in the case, shares the same real-life prison as FTX hunters Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean P. Diddy Combs. Although it is unlikely he's actually cellmates with either, in the show, Mangione's character navigates friendship, justice, and the absurdity of viral fame, with the two by his side. Per the release, the show is described as wildly irrelevant, razor-sharp comedy that imagines the true story of Luigi Mangione, the alleged corporate assassin turned accidental folk hero. The film features other famous characters, including convicted crypto fraudster Bankman-Fried and Combs, a former rap mogul.
For the record, Luigi was caught on tape killing the person.
The show is directed by Nova Bradford and features original music and lyrics by Ariel Johnson. Johnson, Bradford, and co-writer Caleb Zaringwe are all involved in the local San Francisco comedy scene. Andre Margattini, another Bay Area comic, is also credited as co-writer of the show. Mangione will be portrayed by Petaluma-based actor and comic Johnny Stein, who admittedly bears some resemblance to the accused murderer. The 60-minute show makes its debut on Friday, June 13th, and is currently scheduled for 5 sold-out performances. Fuck it. Why doesn't every major city just do a Luigi the Musical?
Isn't Julia
We should just create Luigi Mangione events around the world in every major city and just pay people to create like a fake musical. It's a smart business idea.
Well, the thing for me is like, as somebody who's a director, I'm a director, and the fact that I don't think anybody wants to kill me, but
But you don't direct.
But the fact that some random guy
the point.
Kill a director, that doesn't, I don't want that, because as a director, I don't want that.
Well, you're not a CEO, so I don't think you have to be worried about that.
But I am a corporate executive.
Speaking on behalf of every single professional person who ever does any.
Yeah, as a corporate director, I don't want people coming after me.
Is a Prada model.
Well, David, I mean this in the nicest way possible. You're a CEO. You're not a CEO, so I don't think you have anything to be worried.
Well, I am a CTO. Is that doesn't count?
The kiki one. You never get murdered. Nobody would care.
But it's really cool. I'm just trying to ironic that they have like P. Diddy and fucking Sam Bankman-Friedman too. I wonder how that's gonna go.
Never actually seen a train go that fast or with those many cars over a bridge like that. It's wild.
Anyway,
It's wild.
that's my opinion.
I agree. Hero for the hood. At the woman.
Baby oil.
I love P. Diddy. Peoria. I think I have underwear by you. I love P. Diddy.
All right, everybody, I'm going to go hit the gym. I hope you guys have a great Friday, May 2nd, 2025. Good Shabbos, everyone. It's almost 4:20. Smoke it if you got it. And then go hit the gym. Riboinoi Shaloim. Master of the universe.
That was amazing.
Ooh, yeah. Just let those positive vibrations sink all over your body. Let it go.
Oh, damn, my iPod's dying.
We're charging your batteries through a new frequency vibration.
Oh my god, I'm too bad. That frequency.
Rico, you do know that you're the only one who's allowed to kick them, right?
That's right.
Go for the kick. Go for the kick.
That's right.
In their districts and be aware of what the constituents think and be cognizant of what they believe is best for their constituency. And I think that's why we don't have a royal presidency. I think that's why the legislature was given this honor and this why can't we get the same thing?
Almost. He's saying if you take Hamas out right now, they give back the hostages, and Hamas gives up its weapons, that would lead to Gaza being, economically prosperous because there'll be no excuse.
You're gonna give up their weapons, Edward? What world do you live on? You're delusional as usual.
Okay. And that would lead the West Bank to want the same things. So they would demand, the West Bank would demand independence, or at the very least prosperity, like what Gaza would be enjoying. So that's if Hamas gives up its weapons, that's what Israel would have.
Yeah, that's one of the two.
They've been demanding that for what? How does that change?
A worse scenario is allowing the PA to come take over and roll over in Gaza. That's even a worst case scenario because that's unifying the political. Okay, so and then so to negate all the both of these scenarios, Israel would have to occupy Gaza, and that's also a horrible scenario because now you're still going to have a hostile Palestinian population in Gaza that you're going to have to interact with. You're going back in time to the first Intifada time period. That's what's going to happen, and this time it's going to be much worse.
And you need Hamas to facilitate this for Israel. So is the Israeli government really interested in getting rid of Hamas? Have they against whatever agreement that Hamas would sign? But let's say they did. Let's say Israel gets the hostages back. Ben Gavir, Smotrich get what they want. Israel goes into Gaza. Then what do you have? A protracted resistance war where you have IDF soldiers being killed and injured on a daily basis, and the Israeli public knows this. And do you think the Israeli public is going to be willing to send their children, their family members, to a war in Gaza when there is no reason to? The hostages are not there anymore, and there's supposed to be a ceasefire agreement in place.
The worst thing about the occupation of Gaza, if you occupy Gaza, you're now responsible for rebuilding Gaza. So now you, by international law, by the UN, will now be responsible for rebuilding Gaza. So now this is all that infrastructure that Israel destroyed is now their responsibility to rebuild, and they're gonna have to figure out where to get those billions of dollars from. And maybe they can coordinate with a lot of these countries and get it, sure, maybe. But nevertheless, they still have to facilitate the rebuilding of Gaza.
And you could keep the Philadelphia corridor, by the way. It doesn't mean anything to Gaza. That's just for show to fool the Israeli people into thinking that somehow Israel has some sort of strategic advantage by holding on to the Philadelphia corridor, which they won't, by the way, because Egypt won't let them. But there's no strategic value in that.
Do you really believe that Israel will pay for rebuilding of Gaza? Do you also believe
they would have to. If Israel occupies Gaza by international law, they have to provide for the people. They have to.
The responsibility of what people would belong in Gaza would belong to Israel.
So you actually believe that this is a possibility? Okay.
Well, if Israel wants to occupy Gaza, it has to. But that's the law.
Occupy it and do what? Like sit and watch them?
The difference is that maybe Smotrich and maybe want to occupy Gaza, but the difference is that the minute the Hamas will give, and the Hamas will, in the end, give up, because Israel will control on the land, and the Hamas will be there, and the hostages will start dying there, and the Hamas will, in the end, understand that they must release and give up with their weapons.
They tried this almost in 2005.
Hamas is not going to, they're all going to die, and they're going to take all the hostages with them. That's the worst case scenario when it comes down to the hostages. I gave you the ideal case scenario. God comes with his angels and he pulls out.
Might be. I don't believe. I don't believe. The Hamas sent his children to die, but I don't believe the leaders want to die.
Thanks.
They will stay.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble. There are no leaders left.
Tell me. Try, learn to listen. Learn also to listen. Speak, but learn to listen. How many leaders you think the Hamas have down there, the channels? How many leaders?
What do you mean by leaders? Political leaders?
Under the ground, no political. Politicals are in.
They're all dead for the most most part. We can agree on that one, right?
So there are maybe 20, 30, 40, 50,
I
100,
can't name a top political leader.
100 leaders who keep maybe 5, 6, 700 soldiers. But they can make a lot of problems to the military.
I'm going to tell you, based on my assessment, the political office of Hamas in Gaza is practically annihilated. What you have left is Al-Qassam, and the Qassam has specific brigade leaders. Some of them have been killed, but there's a chain of command, so there are people with experience who are taking over. Just like any military.
Yes, everybody has someone who will take his place. If someone, if his brother, and who is not going, you don't do the same mistake what someone did and go out of the channel. That Israel, they have a lot of even information there. Israel controlling the area. They have the information from the Palestinian. And the Hamas, if somebody they find, just kill him. So they can, how long? 500, let's say, and I am more. I don't believe that there are even not 500. Maybe I say 200 maybe. But let's say the best more they have 500. How long they can survive with the hostages? And the minute the first and the second hostage will die, I don't believe that those people want to. Then they will make agreement that they give up with the weapon, and they can go out to Egypt, to go out to Jordan, to go out of Gaza. And the minute they put down the weapon, and they go out, maybe there were 2 or 3 hostages even survive. Maybe not. I don't know.
Almost. I put something in the comedy freaking.
If there will be less than 10 hostages, that means the 10 hostages will get killed. They know that there are around 24, so people say less than 24. Let's say that if it would be less than 10 people survive alive, then Israel will not agree to let the Hamas go out. They don't want
to go out.
Okay.
They don't want to go out.
Okay, then I think I know better than you. You think, I think I know better than you, that those leaders don't want to get killed. Don't want.
Those leaders that you're talking about, hopefully we're on the same, we have the same understanding. What you're talking about are field officers. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about its equivalent to field officers.
Yeah, and those will not like to be dead. Those will keep those 20 hostages alive. They will not let Jihad Islami or any crazy person to kill them. And when they see they have no other choice, Israel will control the place. They don't agreement. So they will get on. It depends how long it will take. Now it will take 2 months, 1 year. As I told you, it can take longer. But then there will election in Israel. I don't think Bibi and Netanyahu want to come.
Good Shabbos, Dr. Matt. How are you? Rabbeinu Shalom Yashakova.
Everything to finish it before and to become the king of Israel, that he give the winning. I don't believe if it will come back, he has no chance. And he finished in jail.
But if you want to be focusing on the hostages, that's your choice. I don't think the priority at this moment, and even according to Bibi and on these guys, it's not the hostages. They've clearly stated this. They understand the scenarios that I laid out and Edward as well.
It doesn't matter what they want. It's matter what the people want. And the people want the hostages, and that's what they say. They want the hostages, and they want to beat the Hamas. And the Hamas will not give up. Feel very sure down there in the July.
Well, Hamas is willing to sign a long-term peace agreement or ceasefire agreement with Israel. So Hamas is not really the issue. I think Netanyahu wants to make it the main issue, but it really isn't.
But they give conditions. They stay controlling the Gaza, and Israel cannot agree to the Hamas thing.
No. That is not what the Israelis are demanding, nor is Hamas demanding control over Gaza. They're willing to set up a temporary transitional government or government or semi-government.
Yes, in the end,
Hamas is willing. No, immediately. They're willing to set this up.
Oh, come on. Stop lying. With Amos, don't lie. The Hamas don't willing to give up the weapon.
I'm coming at you, but there you go. You just said it. Thank you. So Israel's demand is that, Hamas surrenders its weapons and its manufacturing. That's the demand. Yeah. So there you go. Okay. Now we're talking.
That's different than surrendering power over Gaza. Like surrendering the government, Hamas has agreed to do this. Okay, by asking Hamas almost to surrender their weapons, we all know what happened with the Palestinians in Lebanon after they made an agreement with Israel, the PLO, to leave Lebanon. What happened? They massacred Palestinians, right?
You talk about Sabra Shatila.
Yes. This is what happened when they gave up PLO left. This is what happened.
When you talk to Amos, you have to say the truth. The truth that Yasser Arafat with his people left Lebanon. First. Second, it's not about Shatila the question, make massacre. It's true. Nobody denied it. That Kitover Shatila was a massacre, but it was not connected with the Palestinian in Beirut. The Palestinian in Beirut with Yasser Arafat left to Tunis. That's
right. No, that's what I'm saying is when they left, the PLO had an agreement with Israel that they can leave, peacefully. They would not be attacked. They left, but as soon as they left, they went in and massacred Palestinians. So same thing here. If Hamas puts down the weapons, what's going to happen to the Palestinians in Gaza?
Who massacred Palestinians?
Israel.
We don't need
Israel.
When? Sabra Shatila?
Ariel Sharon, with the help of the Christian militias, they went in and they massacred the Palestinians. But we don't have to go. We don't have to get into all this.
No. Who did the massacring again? Who did the massacring?
Danny, I just told you. I don't know why you get stuck on this.
Was it Israelis? Was it Israelis that did the massacring, as you said, or not?
Wait. So Israel
said something else. Israel said that we massacred.
Allowed the window to happen.
We allowed it.
Israel surrounded the camps. Israel's the
Who did the massacre? Who did the... Yeah, we also allowed 7th of October.
Daniel.
We also allowed 7th of October.
Israel is the one
we allowed 7th of October, right?
And Israel is the one that allowed those Maronites in. And the ones
who did it? Who did it?
Israel has taken responsibility, Daniel, already.
Ariel Sharon was demoted. I'm just asking who did the massacre. I'm just asking who did the massacring. Very simple question. Who did the massacre? Who did the killing?
Question. We already answered.
Okay, I just wanted to correct Edward. No, you can go on.
But who's the one who gave them the window? Who was surrounded?
I thought you wanted to move on. Okay, so who did the massacre?
Who did the massacre? The entry of Israel.
No, because he said they did this and they said they did this and then they massacred. Who massacred? Who did the massacre? Sharon. Who massacred the camp? He went up to the camps specifically, they're Palestinian, and allowed Christian Maronites to come in. And while Christian Maronites, and what did the Christian Maronites do? What did the Christian Maronites do? Okay, can you meet up?
We already, I don't know how many times.
So we know that Ariel Sharon was demoted. He got in trouble.
The climax. He started the climax. What did the Christian Maronites do? When we went, actually, it's a story.
Okay, you're separating Ariel Sharon or the IDF from the massacre. You can't do that.
Why didn't you suggest Sharon?
The Maronites entered the camps that were surrounded by Israeli forces. Israel allowed them to enter, and they're
Don't go back. Don't go back. They already passed it.
answering.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not.
Yes.
They entered and they committed the massacre. Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay. Yeah, we've like 3-4 times now.
No, I don't actually say that they massacred, but now we understand someone else. Okay, you can go on if you remember where you were.
Well, again, responsible.
Why? Listen, if you know the reality, why the manipulation? Like
no manipulation. There's no manipulation.
Yeah, when you say they massacred and they didn't do it, it's kind of like okay, it's not manipulation. I was being generous. Hold on, but did they send? Hold on, did they send them? Did they tell them go and massacre them?
They facilitated their.
Did they hire them? Did they ask them? Did they?
They didn't have to let them enter.
Oh, we didn't have to let them enter. That is very much different than hiring a hate member fine.
Oh, pretty much the same thing. I mean, what did you expect was going to happen? Why would you allow them in?
Because the Christian Maronites are what, like barbaric? Why would they just slaughter?
Because they've already been doing it.
So maybe they're the problem?
Like Lebanese Civil War. No?
You know, Edward and Cynic are the biggest liars on their apps. They're just a bunch of frauds.
You're always like a shit talker. Like
this guy records.
You're a scammer, Cynic, and you're a liar, Edward. You're a fake Palestinian. You're both fake Palestinians. You're not even indigenous to the land. You're just a bunch of fakes. Liar, fakes. You don't believe in coexistence. You think Hamas should survive and continue the war. Lay down your weapons and be in peace. You're just a bunch of scam artists.
Okay, again, you're just a dominant who's not saying anything. Can you tell us where the lie is? Show me that you have an IQ that is, above room temperature.
Yes, because I wanted everybody to be able to join.
No. Leave it like this, that we can, if Cody open his mouth, we can't pick it down.
I'm just saying, good Shabbos. You're going to waste your Shabbos listening to these two morons.
But you're going to waste your Sabbath.
No, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going for a nice walk in the park.
Good God. Someone you guys need to do an intervention with this guy, seriously. Yeah, I don't know necessarily where we have to do the whole Lebanon thing.
No, we don't.
I get Benny. I get your point, Edward, but I don't care. I don't think Hamas is the worst thing. You know, the worst thing that Israel has to deal with, nor is it the hostages. It's simply what is the post-war solution for Gaza. And I know this guy's flooding the comments because he can't help himself. But if you scroll up to like 17 minutes ago, I posted an article from your favorite Times of Israel, and this is what Smotrich is saying. You know, fighting won't end until hundreds of thousands of Gazans leave. And for some reason, he also talking about Syria partition, which I mean is exactly what I've been saying. I mean, it really. The scenario where Israel wins in Gaza is my ethnically cleansing Gaza. And it's not going to stop. You know, hundreds of thousands is him covering up. He pretty much wants us all. Right? All the Gaza is gone. That's the ideal scenario. Otherwise, it's a screwed scenario. Whether you take out Hamas, whether you rescue the hostages, you're still screwed. You're still screwed. You either have to rebuild Gaza on your own if you occupy it, and then you have to deal with a scenario that is akin to something in between a first intifada and a second intifada, which is going to cost billions of dollars over the years. And you don't do that. You create a new government in Gaza, and then that government now has legitimacy, and you can't fuck with it. And now it's going to prosper, and the West Bank is going to demand a similar government, and they're going to demand the same privileges. And this is going to literally almost lead to a de facto two-state solution at that point. Or you can bring in the PA, and then you would unify the political front, and this would look like a big win for the PA, and they're going to continue on, appealing to the world, a two-state solution.
Actually, the one thing Hamas and Israel have agreed on is no PA, strangely enough.
Well, I mean, The coming of the PA will be the worst thing, actually. So, if the PA comes in, this would be extremely embarrassing for Netanyahu because he pretty much invested his political career in this, what he believed, the chess move of the time is that, I manufactured this political divide and I did this and I can control Palestinian affairs and I can give an excuse why we don't want to give Palestinian statehood.
Partitioning on both sides, yeah.
Yeah, all that evaporates, and not only that, you bring the PA in on your, with your own hands. That's political suicide.
No, see, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to bring the PA in because then he doesn't have the Hamas excuse. He needs the Hamas excuse to be there.
I agree with you. Well, actually, the scenario that is ideal is actually that Israel goes back to before October 7th and actually allows that system to go in, where you actually manage to find much of the Hamas infrastructure that is manufacturing the weapons and dismantle that, and you'll have a Hamas that is back to like the early 2000s, and you would just reset the clock, and that would be the actual ideal, like if Israel is committed, if they're smart.
Just going in and getting the weapons from Hamas underground would that would be an enormous amount of resources.
Yeah, you're gonna talk about, it's gonna lead,
And Netanyahu can't afford any more casualties on the Israeli side, politically.
Yeah, that scenario isn't. I agree. The whole, reverse the clock and Hamas continues, and you just go back. In a way, this makes it look like they kind of won. It depends on what happens with that. It just doesn't seem, plausible, honestly. But really, Israel seeks to win, like actually get a strategic victory. They need to ethnically cleanse the Gaza. There's just no way, really. There's no solution. I mean, there are people who are more pessimistic than me. Benny Adam actually believes they're going to genocide 2 million people, or almost 2 million people in Gaza. So, and Be Free, actually, for some reason, believes this. I don't believe this is.
No, I don't think so. That's going to take a lot to do. That's still a lot of resources. Not to sound, inhuman, but from a resource standpoint, that's going to be a massive project, and the entire world will be watching it unfold, which Israel still, again, can't afford to do. I think the best case scenario for Israel, if I was Netanyahu right now, the options that are open to me are a ceasefire agreement that allows the release of the hostages, in a controlled, where I could say, okay, Hamas, they're not going to be the government anymore. It's going to be this transitional board, and they will control everything. That and this is not, of course, ideal in the long run, but when it comes to the people of Israel, they will buy this as a victory and say, oh, okay, so Hamas is not in charge. We got the hostages back. There's this other entity controlling Gaza now, not Hamas. Okay, we win. It's not it's not truly a victory, but they don't know that. But I think Netanyahu will try to pull that off. I just don't see any other option. There isn't any other option on the table.
Wow, Edward, you guys are like projecting so much. If you think that this,
okay, Daniel, give an option,
and that you think
you give
they don't know this, they don't know that.
Daniel, go ahead and give an option. Give a scenario.
At the end of the day, we need to have security, we need to have safety. And
Daniel, give a scenario, not the objective. Give us a scenario, what you think will happen. If you were Netanyahu, like what would you do, or what do you think Netanyahu would do in the immediate future?
I don't know what will happen because unlike you, I'm not a prophet.
We're not prophets. We analyzed every scenario that's possible. Can you come up with a different scenario?
Are you able to mute sometimes and maybe use your ears when others are speaking?
He's gonna call the people.
Hello, hi. And you know that others are also talking. So I'm trying to address. So what I would do,
I would actually call
victimized. That's it.
I don't know who you are.
Go.
If you want to stay, like, just wait. Okay, so what I would do, I would carve with the corridors that Israel already did and are doing now, carve the Gaza Strip into like 5-6 different, boroughs or like cities or like sections, and let those boroughs self-govern themselves. So there is no like one government for the entire Gaza Strip, but more like I don't know, like whatever you call it, councils or whatever for each section that will actually need to take care of their own section. So it will be not possible to create like a military across the zone, and when they want to go from one zone to another zone, they go through a checkpoint that you see where they are, and then you can also live. And actually, by then, while the people are moving, like from place to place, you can also identify the people that you're looking for and arrest them.
Perfect. That's literally the occupation of Gaza you just described. You just gave more details about it. Cantonization, creating an apparatus, a security apparatus, permanent military presence in Gaza, which would come with the responsibility of building this apparatus and the infrastructure.
It's more like security, not governance. The security, like we will.
No, you can't have it both ways, Daniel.
No, I don't want to have both ways. I want to have it one way.
No, so here's what will not happen for you.
Hold on. Listen, I'm not. Once again, guys. I'm not having like we're not in a conference.
No, I want to address one part of it.
I'm trying to tell you like what makes sense to me, like taking into like the realization. And I don't see a possibility where Israel governs Gaza in terms of like internally. So only military, only security.
Daniel, when it comes to what you said, which is a possibility, the problem here is then you would have to have this what you just said, like this other government or governance in Gaza, which then means that you would have to have Hamas agree to this governance.
No, you don't need to Hamas to agree to this. No, actually, you don't need to, because this is what I said. If you carve out the Gaza Strip into those 5-6 boroughs, okay, then first of all, every movement in those sections will be through a checkpoint.
But Hamas is underground, though, Daniel. So you're not going to rid of Hamas.
You will continue with destroying the underground tunnels, okay? Finding shafts, detonating them, closing them. Like you're continuing
going on for 18 months.
The scenario is even.
Yes, but you do need to.
Because you're still
the other options?
With the remnants of Hamas long term. So
yeah, you need to remove it. You need to remove it.
No, you're not going to.
So let me get this straight. To establish this scenario, which I agree. I mean, I thought that this should translate from the occupation of Gaza. This should be understood already. Cantonization of Gaza. But anyways, Israel would have to 1, occupy Gaza. 2, build the infrastructure to allow this apparatus to exist. So the checkpoints, this section.
Yeah, they're already there. Most of them are already there. That's fine.
They would need to invest more into it.
You mean the corridor is there? The corridor is there.
Yeah, I'm talking about
separate all of it.
I'm talking about the corridors and with the checkpoints, with the machinery to identify.
Okay, but what you're doing then is giving Hamas and the resistance more credibility, because now it's a true occupation in terms of boots on the ground and cantonization of Gaza. So you're actually strengthening the resistance.
At the end, this is like what I would do in order to like maybe they will have like more like narrative whatever, but now I will be able to over like the Gaza Strip, not in terms of like managing the population, but just like as I said, security-wise, dividing it with the checkpoints.
And by the way, you would have to establish these small governing bodies over each of these sections, and pretty much they would gain legitimacy through you and pretty much their contact through the outside world and entering and exiting would be Israel. So Israel would be responsible for them.
Okay, so in Gaza, there are like in the different cities, there are like also different hamulot.
like big families that are like.
I understand.
Kind of like, and we're talking about like take a few of those chamulot that already are acceptable and kind of with this specific location within Gaza, and they will govern themselves. They will take care of their own people, of their own chamulot, of their own family, for food, for education, for whatever, like infrastructure, whatever.
That's the air.
What do you mean? No, they will be able to get like aid and whatever from whoever gonna fund it.
Oh, there you go.
What are you talking about? You're literally the one on the ground, and you're the one who's going to be between the aid and the outside world and Gaza. These.
We are doing the border control.
You're responsible for building.
Let's say you go through the airport, okay, and you have like this tax thing that you like, how do you call it, the customs, okay? They can tell you, okay, you can go, you cannot go, but they are not responsible to bring the stuff or to like, you can bring the wine. They will tell you, okay, this is like, you cannot bring it in, not allowed.
If you're going to occupy, then you're responsible for rebuilding Gaza. The world is going to say you have to pay for it. If you're going to occupy, you have to pay for it.
You can't separate the two. I will give you an example, okay? For example, in the West Bank, there are 3 different sections. One that is totally like security and governance is by the Palestinian. One is governance and security by Israel, and one that is half-half, meaning security is by Israel, but governance is by the PA. So the same concept in a way, but just in Gaza, meaning that we are responsible for like in the what like.
You're missing one point, Daniel. The West Bank doesn't have to be rebuilt. Gaza does. So
yeah, I understand, but it doesn't matter rebuild it. Okay, that's a good question. You are right. Gaza needs to be rebuilt, and we are managing security, building like all this stuff is not part of our responsibility. It's part of the administrative. Whatever body.
Okay.
Not the security. We are not going to manage.
Relying on you, you're going to have to fund them to establish themselves.
Fund them? No, we don't need to fund them. This is again, you are missing the part about self-governance. The Palestinians will self-govern themselves.
No,
not us. We will not govern over them. I understand that you want us to govern you, but this is not an option for us. You need to govern yourselves.
Because you are talking about a permanent IDF presence in Gaza that supervises the transportation of movement of people.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes, but why?
Israel was the
goal
of what?
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. You are correct. But cynic, you are correct. We can say that this thing is not allowed, or to ask for like, why is this for? Yes, that is correct. But it doesn't mean that we need to bring the stuff. I'm not sure why we see this relation between us controlling the government. Hold on, let me just finish it because we are stuck on this point.
Your voice is very low.
Hold on, Edward. The fact that we are controlling the border, okay, and saying what can go in and what cannot go in, there is no link that says that we are also the one that needs to bring whatever we need to bring. That is something that you are making, but it's not realistic.
No, you destroyed Gaza, so you would have to rebuild it if you're occupied.
That is a different point. Yeah, that is a cute point.
He agreed on that. But again, so I'm now the governing body in Gaza. I'm like the representative of I'm your contact. Just like how in the PA there's a contact. So I'm your contact now. I need certain building material or I need certain goods. I'm gonna hit you up, and you are gonna be the contact to the outside world, and you're gonna
No.
Okay, so that you will have direct connection to the outside world.
Yes, you just need my approval.
So let me get this straight. You're creating another PA.
No, I'm saying, listen. You now wanna order some stuff to build some stuff, okay? Let's say you ask permission. It's okay. I need those dual use products for this use, okay? Like, and then you say, okay, we allow it. Hold on, we allow it. And then we say, okay, you go and you order it, you buy it, you pay it, you get it, you build it, and then you send confirmation to us here. I did what I said I would do with the money, and then we continue.
Okay.
What's the problem?
Okay, that's pretty
Let's
much
just
the
make
occupation.
one thing clear. Look,
No, you do whatever you want to do. Build whatever you want to build.
I agree with this. Let's make one thing clear. The Israelis have zero interest in governing or having anything to do with the government of Palestine. They want the Palestinians to govern themselves. They might help with a transitional government, but the eventual goal is again for them to have their own state. It's the dream of the two-state solution. Because like I said,
Israel doesn't want it to.
the Israelis have zero interest in
And I think that
being responsible for the country of God. They have zero interest.
You're explaining.
And if you really think for the Palestinians, then they don't need to have an interest, because everything that Israel will do, they will be automatically tainted as something that is evil or demonic or whatever you guys believe in. So if in order to make actually something that will work for the Gazans, there needs to be trust. There is no trust between them and us. Okay. Yeah. So for us to be involved in the government of Gaza it's a recipe for a disaster. The only way that it can work for the Palestinians if they will actually govern themselves.
For disaster.
Okay, we already understand that self-governance under the supervision of the IDF and the
not supervision. Not supervision. It's about. Listen, you need to understand. Hold on one second, Sian. You need to understand. Our interest, okay, is to be safe and secure.
I get it.
If you want to go and build a hospital, great. You will get. Buy your concrete, buy whatever, build your hospital, amazing. No one will stop you, okay? But if you will build a terror tunnel, this will stop you. We don't want that. We don't want you to build a military. Build anything else.
You're assuming there are within these new sections that you're going to create the expertise. There exists experts in it that can rebuild the fundamentals of society. You shouldn't assume that. You should assume a lot of these people have been annihilated. For the most part, the families that you're going to call upon are actually some of the worst families when it comes down to intellect and expertise. These are pretty much like tribes. I know the families that you're.
I understand. But with all due respect, if the Palestinians cannot create their own nation, like what do you mean?
It's not
like
we can't
do it under you.
Talking about a nation. You're literally.
Like I said,
okay.
Gaza. You know what? Gaza.
The border of Gaza. Who's going to control the border with Egypt?
Israel will control the border.
Thank you.
Israel
is an occupation.
Right. I understand. Listen, you can say it, but the reality is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call it, because at the end of the day, it is needed. Okay, and in order for it not to be needed, we need to strive for a Gaza that will be rebuilt in a way that is not infested with terrorism. And then you will not need those things. Okay, we already had ties with Gaza that we didn't have borders and we didn't have checkpoints.
Exactly. Answer it with who's gonna design and build the Canton infrastructure? Who's gonna do that?
We divided. There's already I think 3 corridors already, or 4.
Daniel, I don't think you understand what it takes to build even just an occupation system, much less
billions of dollars. He doesn't get it.
You're building almost a civilization in Gaza. You're starting from the ground up. It's going to take experts from all over the world. It's going to take resources from all over the world. And on top of this, you're saying, okay, well, everybody's going to spend money to build cantons in Gaza, which nobody would agree to begin with.
Yeah, by the way, why not? Would immediately opt out. They would opt out.
Why not? Why not?
Nobody would want to build something to be for people that are under occupation that is not building your standard communities, but you're literally building for an occupation. You're not building for freedom.
second. No, I'm not.
You're separating them into these cities, these little cities, mini city states.
Hold on. Let's say there's a highway, okay, that separates between in Israel. I know that cities
got the highway.
By a highway. Okay.
How about the hardware?
In order to pass, you need to either walk through a specific bridge, or you need to drive through a specific road.
Daniel, you're in IT, right? You're in IT. You're talking about the pathway, right, where information travels. What about the hardware? What about the software? What about everything else that you need? You can't just have a highway and say, okay, now
you're going to need cameras. You're going to need on the ground Israeli bases that are crossing.
So you're building two
already there, guys.
You're building infrastructure.
It's all. Hold on.
No.
The corridor. You can also see it on the satellite map. It's a big one. Okay, it's a thick one. Okay, so you can even see when people come close.
It's a road with cement blocks and a few tanks.
Hold on. No, hold on. It's about almost 1 kilometer long and wide. Okay, okay, and in the middle you have the checkpoints that you can pass through. Not only in the middle, there's also one close to the water.
Yeah. So that's
and basically
that's a no man's land currently.
Exactly. Yes. And the rest. And that will stay like this. But the rest of Gaza, not just the corridors, the rest of Gaza can be rebuilt. At the end, those corridors will go away, of course, But for now, in order to kind of confront this situation that we have right now, this is a solution. I'm not saying that this will happen, and I doubt it if it will happen. But you asked about the way to have a solution, and I think also at the end, despite your rejection, I think it will benefit the Palestinians and will give them that will actually care for them.
I mean, if you're having an agreement where this corridor goes away, if that's not really dividing, as you were saying at the beginning. It's not the same. If you had a situation where all this would go away, once the building is done, you would have one Gaza. You're basically describing the same scenario that we put on the table, except you're including this corridor, which would be there anyways because nobody's going to take up the
corridor. I also said in the beginning that the corridor, you can always pass through it. It's not like that. It's like a wall that you cannot each one live in separate community.
The corridor is important, Daniel. I don't think the corridor, with what you're saying, you're saying
because the intention here is security, okay? And the way to achieve the security is, instead of going now and kind of continue destroying Gaza, is actually to do this and first of all kind of prevent them as basically block everybody wherever they are, and then when they want to pass, they need to go through a identification, and then we can find the people that we want to find. Instead of this is what I would have done.
If there's a ceasefire, you can't go and find people that you want to find. It doesn't work that way. If there's a ceasefire, there's a ceasefire. You can't hunt down
ceasefire is I don't care. Yeah, I'm not talking about ceasefire. Ceasefire is, at the end, is an agreement, and it wasn't part of any agreement because it doesn't exist. But I'm saying that instead of like a year ago already, I would already start by carving Gaza into those sections, and then first do the separation. So everybody that wants to go can go, not a problem. If you're not in the database, move on, enjoy your life, continue. But if you are in the database, first of all, you cannot travel obviously with a weapon with those checkpoints, and it will allow for life to continue in Gaza as you are basically also trying to weed out those people that you're looking for.
The people that you're looking for, but you're looking for pretty much everybody. I think everybody's in that database.
Let me add to the. So
listen, if you want to ignore the fact that that there are people that we are looking for in this war, I think it's a bit of a childish argument. I mean, you seem like anything that I would offer, you say, okay, you should try to there is something called. Whether you like it or not, you need to acknowledge that there is a terror group called Hamas. They are controlling Gaza. They did launch 7th of October, and they do have hostages. So, acknowledge it. Enough with the propaganda.
When you say the resistance would go away,
with your scenario. So you're assuming, based on your scenario, the resistance doesn't go away. Okay, so who the fuck is going to deal with Hamas? It's clearly not the families. The families aren't going to risk dying and dealing with Hamas.
No, I did. I said I did it. I would do it first of all a year ago, and it's in steps. You know, you carve those things, and then people as they pass. You first of all you block them from operating as like one unit that can pass, while also destroying some of the tunnels, of course, especially especially in those corridors down. Meaning in the corridors, like do a big blast down, so make sure that even under the corridor you cannot go, and then for a while just to see what that causes. First of all, anyone that passes will have to be identified. And we can also maybe look for those that are not passing, I don't know. But it will also harm Hamas in the way that perform as a one unit. From passing ammunition, from passing soldiers, from whatever. And even people that were like stuck and want to go back to their family, and they're Hamas, then they will have to either like make a choice. Either they pass through a checkpoint, they might be caught, or not.
Not necessarily. So again, you are going to have to deal with the scenario, assuming this can, Israel has to occupy Gaza, Hamas shifts to more underground, and now.
What do you mean occupy Gaza? Because it's not really occupy Gaza, okay?
It's in Gaza. I'm gonna stop.
No, but because we have to be very specific.
I think Gaza is not an occupation because
I'm saying it's very important, okay? Because again, nuances are important if you want to be honest.
Israeli.
Can I say? So no, it's not accurate enough because the Israeli soldiers will not be roaming around inside those sections. Okay, they will stay on the perimeter, around. Okay, not inside.
Operations whenever needed.
They will be on basically the parts that will be occupied are parts that no people live in. The areas where people live in are not occupied militarily by us.
Yes, which is going to be mainly.
And also the security inside is not governed by us. It will be internal security, like police.
Okay. Can I ask a question here to Daniel? So, are you saying that Israel will be there in Gaza, and as Gaza is rebuilt, Israel will gradually leave Gaza? Is this what you're saying?
I'm saying that yes. Once we see that that we're rebuilding and they invest in the right things for society, which is not to militarize the street. And
now, can I then say this? So, okay, given what you're saying, and then of course you want to get rid of Hamas too, right? The resistance. So, wouldn't building Gaza and having a prosperous Gaza and a prosperous, which will eventually happen if you're rebuilding Gaza, a prosperous West Bank, wouldn't this nullify the resistance to begin with? Because what are they resisting against at the end of the day?
So you would think so, yes, but we understood that.
Wouldn't this be more efficient than?
Hold on, unfortunately, as I'm trying to answer you, you would hope so, you would think so, but unfortunately, we know that it's not true because it was attempted, and what we understood is that the ideology of Hamas is not based on like luxury or money or convenience. It's not about this. It's way deeper than that. You cannot buy them off.
You said it was attempted before.
First of all, the life in Gaza for people that are like some people is very good. Some people it's very not good. Okay. But for some people, it's really, really good. They have like how do you call it?
For the vast majority of Gazans, was life good when you were there?
No, they're poor as shit.
No, I've never heard that life was good in Gaza.
The Gazans, yes, the big families, they usually have some wealth, and you could maybe even like in the $1 million.
And you will have like bakeries like with like boutiques. like boutique places and like nice hotels and like how do you call it, parks and with like with nice spas and pools and
then Gaza would be free.
And the thing is that, and hold on, let me please.
No, but Daniel, then Gaza's free.
Please let me answer. And if you also look at like the number of people that got permit to work in Israel, which they get way more money, over the years and over the month, it keeps on growing. And I think like a week or two before 7th of October, there was even a discussion of doubling the number of permission, because again, the belief was that if their life would be good, then, as you said, they will have no reason to resist, yada, yada, yada. What we do learn is that the ideology here is way stronger than this. And this concept of that, the right of the return, which is something that they teach in Gaza for everyone, and about like, you know, we
Daniel, you have the wrong idea.
Akko, and all that.
You have the wrong idea when it comes to
And you can see, in fact, that they were willing to destroy Gaza for this. Dude, I mean,
Daniel, prosperity to Gazans, to Palestinians, is not being able to work in Israel or have boutiques or anything like that. It's self-determination, having our own land.
Exactly.
Right? But that's never happened. That's never happened.
You need to tell yourself that the entire concept of self-determination is the self-determination part.
So
we need to self-determine you.
If there is self-determination, Daniel, then that nullifies the resistance, because the resistance is there for self-determination. To bring us self-determination. Yes, it is.
No, that is not correct. Edward, the resistance, which you call, which is Hamas, and they are very open about it. And this is what they teach. They teach about the right of return to Israel.
Wow.
They're talking about we will go back to Haifa and Akko and all that.
And the PA teaches holds on to the right of return. So that is a right that no one is abandoning, not even the PA.
So that's the resistance. The resistance.
We were ethnically cleansed.
Exactly, the resistance is the existence of Israel.
No, if there was an actual peace agreement and the Palestinians signed it, then the resistance.
You will not sign it. You will not sign it because the thing that you want out of the destruction of Israel.
That's not true. Then that's you saying that. We Palestinians would sign it. The West Bank, Gaza, we signed it.
Okay, I will tell you this. Okay, the right of return equals the destruction of Israel. Okay, so that is not an option.
Okay, but
not an option.
No. We would give up. I mean, I know
Israel. It would mean the end. It would mean the dwindling of the Jewish demographic, which over time would lead to the Jewish demographic being a minority. Okay, if that's what you mean by the destruction of Israel, which I agree. I mean,
so it will not happen, guys. It will not happen, and this is why there will not be peace agreement, because you want to destroy Israel, and we don't.
This was already
we want to be
in Oslo with Arafat. Arafat was willing to have like some sort of symbolic right of return with a few thousand.
But the thing is, what you're missing is, okay,
over time being like around 100,000.
We have the right of self-determination that we exercise, and what you want is to take away that right, and we will not allow it.
That's
and our right for self-determination.
We have a Palestinian territory, a Palestinian state of our own, would not be attacking Israel, because that would be two states attacking each other, and that we would break our agreement and jeopardize everything that we would have built for ourselves. We would not do that. Now, if Hamas or if any other. If any organization wants to attack,
because you don't.
Good evening, everybody. Anyone that wants to attack Israel after Palestinians and Israelis agree on a two-state solution, anyone that wants to attack Israel would have to do it outside of the Palestinian territories.
You are completely missing the point. Edward, is this peace agreement?
If they even want to do it at all.
Does it include the right of return?
They don't want a two-state solution.
No, a right of return. We were willing to accept, like Felix said, I forgot what the number was, but it was thousands of people that Israel has agreed to let in the country. This is a mathematical formula for Israel. It could determine exactly how many Palestinians that they were allowed to return to Israel without compromising the Jewish demographic. over the short or long term. And that's not an issue, and it is a mathematical equation, so both sides could agree upon it. Okay, that's not the issue. That's never been the issue.
To allow 1,000 people to go back.
I think it was something like 50 to 100,000 people.
No way, dude. No way.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, it was. You don't know, but yes, it was.
Yo,
the main problem is Jerusalem, really.
You guys are able to coexist. I don't know what the big problem coexisting is, but apparently it's really difficult. Yeah, right now, yes, Israel is controlling like all the shit that gets into Gaza and stuff because they are, looking for weapons, make sure weapons and things aren't being smuggled in. You guys talk about the tunnels. They dug thousands of miles of tunnels. They haven't found them all. I don't know. So I think what I'm saying is that Israel still at this point is still, again, number one is looking after its own defense, self-defense. Once they get, assurances that they'll have self-defense, that they won't be attacked by any of their neighbors or whatever, they won't have rockets flying in from Gaza, then you can start talking about whatever, other, the borders completely and they can trade freely. But until there isn't a threat, while there's a threat, it's gonna be too difficult to do that at the moment.
Amazing. Yeah, the main problem is that we're not willing to give up East Jerusalem. We can work with the right of return. But there's a worse right of return, Daniel, than the one that you're actually worried about. There's the one where all the millions of Palestinians outside of the territories return back to the territories. Our population doubles, and once that state is established in like a year or something. So there you go. That's your demographic threat. That's why Israel will never.
It's on a demographic threat. It's on a demographic threat. You want us, hold on, CM. It's not a demographic threat. It's about you want to invade us and that we agree to this. So hell to the no. That's not a demographic threat. That's an invasion. That's an invasion. You want to invade our country, and we say no.
I'm talking about a Palestinian state where Palestinians from all around the world return back to this state.
To your Palestinian state, in your state, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, but then you're not getting it, are you? You're not getting it. So think long term, David. Daniel, think long term. Now all these Palestinians are now in the West Bank. They're gonna want to expand their cities. They're probably gonna want to build infrastructure. Over time, these settlements and these Palestinian territories are practically meshed into one. You have peace, assuming now you have long-term peace. All these Arab Israelis, these Palestinians are going to want to pretty much, interchangeably, go through the territories and Israel. Like they're just gonna cross in. They're probably gonna live within the two. They're gonna cross out. It's gonna be freedom of movement. Not only that, you are going to see Jews who want to live in Judea and Samaria. So you're going to want to see Jews who are going to appeal to the Palestinian state. Okay, but you're not getting it still.
That's possible.
Long term. Shut up, CM. Let me freaking finish. Now, not only that, we're assuming peace in the region. So now you're going to see a lot of these borders and trade and Arabs moving in and out. Long term, this means Arabization. This means y'all start speaking Arabic. And this means our population. No. Let me finish, CM. Let me finish.
No worry. Why would we speak Arabic?
This means a higher rate of growth for the Arab Israelis themselves.
because they're going to be able to marry from within the Palestinian territories.
Okay,
They're also going to be
that
doing
happens organically. It happens organic.
Yes, organically over time, we will shift the demographics.
But again, Cynic, over time, could change. You know, we're talking about a very far future, and in a way, we will find a way to preserve the self-determination of Jews. I cannot tell you how right now because what you're talking about is very much in the future.
Yeah, you would have to sacrifice between democracy and the Jewish state, which is the worst case scenario. You don't want to reach that critical point to begin with.
No, we're talking about hundreds of years from now, okay?
Not talking about hundreds of years from now, Daniel. Actually, if you look at the demographics currently on the ground, you will see almost a 50-50 between the Arabs and the Jews.
Yeah, but what we're talking about, what you were talking about, this peace in the Middle East situation, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, because of Israel. Israel will never allow it.
Whatever you wanna tell yourself.
That's just a fact. Their entire
no, that's not a fact. It's completely the definition of an opinion. Not only is it an opinion, it's.
The Jews are gonna get with their culture.
No, please do a border, you know.
A million times before. What are you talking about?
Listen, there are many countries that share borders and they didn't change demographically so easily, and you know, and you can always have immigration laws and naturalization laws. I understand, but you can make laws to protect whatever you need to protect. Don't worry.
What are the laws when you're like I don't know, 30% of the land now? When you're being dwarfed in by the rise of Arab.
Don't worry. Listen, you're talking about why I'm telling you, we will be fine, okay? We will survive.
You can say that, but there have really quickly, just look up the demographic threat of Israel and see the dozens of articles that are going to pop up, the Israeli articles, and read them. Like, put an hour.
Don't worry. No, I already did.
It doesn't matter how many more Palestinians.
You think Smotrich is an idiot? He wants to ethnic cleanse Palestinians because what? He's a freaking vampire?
What? I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if more Palestinians.
Then you don't know who Smotrich is.
The current internationally recognized borders of Israel are not going to change. The Israelis are going to fight to keep their national sovereignty or whatever, and they're going to keep their customs and traditions. They're not going to stop reading Torah. Like they're reading the
Torah. What the hell do you know? Half the guys are gay. What are you talking about? Reading the Torah.
Thanks for sharing, Stan. Appreciate it.
No, I'm just saying the Jews aren't going anywhere.
And Jews, they don't have to go anywhere. They're going to get dwarfed, but by a more successful, faster producing demographic and a predominant culture.
If they have if somehow Palestine becomes like the next fucking UAE and builds Burj Khalifas and dwarfs Israel won't care as long as one, there's no fucking threat.
That's what you think. That's what you think.
And two, as they don't invade, they don't impede.
You don't need to invade. There's peace now.
No, exactly.
Shut up and learn something.
DM, go do some equations.
And a fifth of the Israeli population is Arab, you dummy. A fifth of them. Now imagine there's a Palestinian state. Imagine there's a Palestinian state. For them, there is no Palestinian state. There is no Israel. It's going to be one state dream, La La Land. They're going to be going back and forth. They're going to have the best of both worlds. That demographic is going to have privileges and advantages over even the Palestinian Arabs and the Israelis, Jews. That demographic is going to skyrocket. That's for one. Now the Arab population in Palestine.
Even then, that's great. As long as
No, that's not great. That's not great. What is Israel, CM? What is Israel?
there's no talk
What is
about
Israel fundamentally?
state of Israel.
Hey, dummy,
There's no
answer the question. What is Israel fundamentally? What is Israel? What is the purpose of Israel?
Israel's the state of the Jewish people, bro.
Jewish people. So how can it be a Jewish state if the Jews are a minority?
That's up to the country.
Why do you think the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians happened
They
in
don't want
47
to have a fucking completely ethnocentric society.
They are already an ethnocentric society.
Meaning like everybody's fucking Jewish. Meaning they prefer a more multicultural population. Because from a multicultural population, everybody benefits. So
No, they don't want that.
None of that will be a problem.
That would be a problem. It would lead to the Jews becoming a minority in the land.
No, man. Again, as long as they're left alone and left to practice their religion, the Jews don't proselytize.
This guy thinks these guys worried about religion. Israel's a secular state, bro.
Exactly. They don't proselytize. They're not trying to convert anybody to Judaism.
That's irrelevant. I don't care. Who cares?
What do you mean? So this is what I'm saying. As long as they're left alone.
We're talking about a scenario they're left alone. We're talking about that scenario.
See, left to practice, and again, and there's no talk about.
Dude, you just keep talking about peace. All you're describing is peace, long-term peace,
if we can achieve that.
And where there is now, even fuck it, there's no Palestinian state. Assume there's no Palestinian state. So there is long-term peace. Dude, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. So I assume there's long-term peace. There's relatively freedom of transportation. Territories prospering. No more war. You're opened up to the Arab world. Now, instead of all these Jews going to the UAE, you have a bunch of Arabs from all over the Arab world coming into Israel. You have a fifth of the population that is Israeli. You have the Palestinian territories booming. Shut up, CM. You currently have almost 50-50 is Jewish Arab ratio currently in the land from the river to the sea. Now you're talking about a scenario where things just get much better for the Arabs. Who do you think that demographic advantage is going to swing for long term? It is going to swing for the Arabs, no doubt about it. These guys are heathenists.
No, but
I got money. I'm gonna have kids. I'm gonna have 4 wives, bro.
There are also Jewish people who have many kids.
Yeah, and those are bad for Israel as well. That's a threat to Israel. After the Arab demographic threat, those guys are the second big threat to Israel.
They all want the same.
Yes, peace. We got it, CM. How many times are you going to repeat yourself?
Then again, there's
Israel doesn't prioritize.
Also repeating yourself.
And there will be no.
Because this guy, I have to respond to this guy.
But I know it's impossible to teach CM anything. As long as there's peace, there's yes, okay. So the Arabs will make up the higher percentage of the population. So naturally. During elections, they have a better chance of getting their
now it's an Arab state. Welcome to Israel, the Arab state.
But as long as you're talking about in the far future where there's absolute peace, and even these Arab leaders who are being elected have no conception of the destruction of the Jewish people and no interest in coexisting. Their interests align with their own country that they're in, where the Jews live, and the Jews are not prohibited from practicing their religion. They're not even trying to convert anybody. Then again, as you said it, as long as there's peace, and again, the interests coincide, there won't be a big problem.
Yes, there would be, and I'm not. You're there. Peace and okay. You're assuming they want peace, and everybody wants peace. Great. You don't need to repeat it for the fourth time. We got.
You're the one that kept saying that, so I was going along with you.
Yes, I'm saying peace is in the advantage of the Arabs and the Arab demographic. Peace is not in the advantage of Israel and the Jewish demographic.
Why?
Because peace